Welcome to the February 6th edition of Elements of Spirit, the free weekly reading series from ediblespirit.com, and yours truly, Michael Domitrovich. Let's see what comes up. These are readings through the elements of earth, air, water, fire. This is the ether reading, which is about the kind of space in which all of these other elements are occurring. We each have these elements existing in us in some sort of dynamic balance. The way these readings are organized is that you listen to the ether reading, to get the sense of what's going to be going down this week, energetically, dynamically. And then you can listen to the reading that's associated with your sun sign, the element that's associated with your sun sign. All of those lists are in the description for this. The corresponding signs are in this description. So let's just see what's coming through the ether today. Okay, very cool. So it's this very cool. I can't remember when. It was a couple weeks ago. I saw this like Tron line. It was like I think it was for fire. It was this like a visor almost that was telling you to scan the periphery. This is different. This is this very specific, simple glyph of these two parallel lines, and it's interesting. Let's see what this breaks down. So there's far beyond where the horizon lies. I heard a song in my head where the horizon lies, and the land sinks into mellow blueness. So there's something here, not something. What this message is saying is set your sights on the horizon, set your sights on the next horizon, and set your sights beyond the horizon. This is cool. This is a forward-reaching week. This is not a week of action. This is a week of planning. Follow through with any actions that are in place. But if you've been feeling frustrated about what do I do, how do I do it, when do I move, when do I go, I don't know. A few years ago, I was saying to people like, there's no such thing as a 5-year plan anymore. But this feels to me like a 1-year plan. Your horizon line is like a year from now. Where do you want to be a year from now? Where do you see yourself a year from now? And then think about, well, interesting, success, and failure beyond that line. So there's something in here which says like, okay, really, the horizon line is not really about direction, because the horizon line extends, in all directions in front of your view. So the idea here is that you're not necessarily plotting a course as much as you are assessing a distance, and I'm pretty big on self-care, because I feel like self-care and self-healing leads to care for others and healing others. Yeah, self-care is what allows you to care for the world. Healing yourself is what allows you to heal the world, if you should choose to accept that mission. Most of the people that are listening to this, watching this, have some awareness of what they are doing or are not doing or are trying to do or would like to do to contribute the best of themselves to this world, and in ways that are useful and authentic and all of that. So what this is saying is like, guys, if you don't know yet what you're doing to contribute, or if you don't know yet where you're headed, it's not as much the specific direction. So it's not nitpicky, it's not micromanaging, like I'm going to go here and then I'm going to do this. This is not as much about manifestation as it is about trajectory, maybe velocity, but not so much. Trajectory, distance. And the idea here is that you want to think reasonably. It feels pretty simple. It's like pick one goal. And for me, yes, practical goals are great. And what do I want? What do I want to have? What do I want to get? But I like abstract goals because sometimes they leave more room for potential surprises. Maybe you don't know what you're capable of. But if you think about who you want to be a year from now, where you want to be a year from now, how you want to be a year from now, that's some sense about, if it is about what you want to be doing or what you want to have or where you want to live or whatever, fine, go for that. But I just encourage you to make more room for who do you want to be? Where do you want to be? How do you want to be? What is the quality of being that you want to cultivate? Or what is the state that you would like to be embodying? And what this requires is it requires you to assess the distance between where you are and where you're going. How far do you have to go? How hard would it actually be? We're talking about success and failure beyond that line. What happens if you plot that course and say, well, I'll put it this way. I would like to be continuing to do one-on-one work with people, but I would like to be speaking, communicating more and more and more freely through mediums like this. So that's a little bit of combination here. There's a practical goal about what does that actually look like, but what I really want is I want to feel this feeling of standing tall, standing proud, knowing what I don't know, and communicating what I might. Freely with a robust, passionate, self-sustaining energy. I want to be able to give that much. Now, what would it look like if I succeeded in that? Well, I would feel pretty good about myself. That would be great. And to me, I'm giving you the advice about what it means to sort of plot the horizon chart and then say, what does success and failure look like beyond that line? Or what does it feel like? Or what does it smell like or taste like or whatever? Success beyond that line to me would be, feeling like this, feeling to keep up and to, I wish I would say, like, I don't mind being irrelevant, but I want to be relevant. I want the work that I do to be useful here. So I feel like if I can be talking and communicating, success would look like feeling great about that, and feeling and feeling so great about it that it's sustaining, so that I can give back in even more tangible ways, either energetically, financially, or practically, right, with work, in some way. Failure beyond that horizon line would mean I just keep going and working and serving. So like failure in this case is not that big of a deal to me. It's like failure would just be more of the same. I would just feel the same way that I do right now. And I would just have to keep going. So my point is that you might have different stakes. Maybe you plot your horizon line and then you're like, oh, I am successful. I have made my dreams come true. I am embodying the state that I want. And then you're like, then what? Then what do I fight for? So maybe success causes you to have a snafu, but maybe the thought of failure causes you to be terrified. Oh my God, if I don't embody this state of being a year from now, my heart would break. My heart would break. I would be brokenhearted. And it will give you a sense of what you're working for, how long you have to work for it, how hard you have to work for it. And, I'm saying pick one goal or quality or state of being that you'd like to embody about a year from now, and then consider the success and failure on the other side of that. If you don't like the success and failure on the other side of that, then consider something else. Pick a different goal or adjust the goal, adjust the quality, and then assess, how do I feel about that? Does this tickle my fancy? Does this get my goat? Can I imagine working for a year straight on behalf of this value, of this desired state, of this quality that I want to cultivate, embody, actualize, crystallize in my life, in meine life, in meine kleine life? It's fun. It's a fun affirmation today for Ether. You guys can't make this up. Okay. I am playing the long con. I am prepared to embody myself fully at all costs. Let's be real, people. This life is a dream. This world is a game. I want to insert like a wise Tupac quote or Biggie quote about hustle. Life is a hustle. Life is a game. Life is a chance to explore and experiment and learn from your explorations. Life is a chance to screw up and make mistakes and be wrong and try again and try again and try again and try again, learning more every time. So I like this. If you've been watching these videos, you know every once in a while I'm like, really? That's the affirmation? I am playing the long con. I have to be clear about this. I have to be calculated even to some extent, and calculated in this sense doesn't mean manipulative. It means taking a symbolic action of assessing a horizon line a year from now. Maybe you want to go longer, but I would recommend like a year. And then articulating what does success look like beyond that horizon? What does failure look like beyond that horizon? And how does that change my sense of commitment, engagement? How does that adjust what I'm prepared to do in order to crest upon that horizon line and say, yes, this is who I am. This is what I was going for. So the affirmation, I am playing the long con, comma, I am prepared to embody myself fully at all costs. I am prepared to embody myself fully at all costs. It's an affirmation here. You guys, how many times do we not do something for some bullshit reason? And the point here is like, I am prepared to embody myself fully, being clear about my mission. I am playing along with the hustle, but I'm also going for truth, sincerity, integrity. I am playing the long con. I am prepared to embody myself fully at all costs. I'm in it to win it. I'm betting on myself. I'm betting on my journey to the horizon. I'm going to assess the success and failure beyond that line so that I have an awareness of how bad I want something, and I'm going to recalibrate the horizon line and what the success and failure, or the horizon line based on how I feel about the success and failure. Do I really need to succeed at this? Would my heart break if I failed, quote unquote? Am I willing to get into it? Am I willing to do it? That will give you some good insight. So there's some orientation here. So just like refresher wise, the point is to say here, like, we've been dealing a lot with emotions, how to deal with what's coming at you, how to deal with what, someone brilliant, a friend of mine who's a judge, she said to me, well, now is the time for organizing an action. It's not just about talking and, petitioning and, protesting. Keep protesting by all means, but it's about then what? Then what happens? Where does this protest lead to in a year? We can't just wait for the email in our inbox that says show up at this place on such and such a day. If you have a fire in you to plot the horizon of where you want to be, what you want to be doing, what really makes you sing, go for it. Also, if you're in a state of overwhelmment, being like, I can't do anything, I don't even feel like moving, then pick a smaller goal. Maybe in a year, you want to be able to walk pain-free. Maybe in a year, you want to overcome toxic relationship patterns from your past. Being really clear about how something that would take that long, that would make you feel good, and that, not achieving would make you feel not as good, will let you know sort of where the sweet spot of where to set your sights and how far to go and how hard to work to get there. I am playing the long con. I'm prepared to embody myself fully at all costs. Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I'm in it to win, and I'm betting on myself. Stay tuned for the rest of these readings. We go in order of air, fire, water, earth. Coming at you on Monday morning, February 6th. Love you, love you, love you. See you next week.